As I prepared this message this week, I kind of became convinced that the most important question that we could ask from Psalm chapter 6 isn't, what is David suffering from this time? Often we know, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we know that the suffering is a result of his personal sin, right? He's sinned with Bathsheba, and so we hear his lament of the consequences of his sin. But it isn't about what is he suffering from, and it isn't even how will God answer him, or if God answered him. The psalm doesn't tell us, in this case, either one, that God answered him or what the problem was. The better question that we could ask about Psalm 6 is, why is David so confident that God will hear him in his sufferings? That's what he expresses at the end of the psalm. Why is he so confident that God's going to hear him? Why, and that God will answer him? So you see, up until the very end of the psalm, of Psalm 6, David is expressing these difficulties. In fact, he ends verse 7 by saying that the tears are still fresh. They're still falling from his face. The circumstances haven't changed, right? The enemies have not disappeared. There has been no answer or solution to his problem. And yet suddenly, in the final verses, David is filled with confidence. And so the very tone of his writing changes in the last few verses. And so the question is, why? Why does the tone change in these final verses? What is it that gives him confidence? So let's read together